So hello everybody, if you are new here on my channel, my name is Alyssa and I am a published author. I am also an avid reader, so I post a lot of my reading or book hauls on here, also reading challenges and reading wrap-ups or monthly TBRs. So if any of that interests you, please subscribe below, and with that, we'll get into the video. I saw this video idea on someone else's channel and I thought it was such a great idea because so many of us are budget shoppers, and to read a book, you don't need to go buy it brand new or anything like that, or even have the physical copy. I did get physical copies of all of these library books. I'm not super familiar with Libby or renting on Kindle. I haven't had much time to explore that yet, but it's definitely something I want to explore in the future. My preference is just to always read physical books, so that's why I got these physically. And these all are in the horror thriller genre. I am kind of in a phase where I'm really feeling like reading that. Maybe it's that I'm getting really excited for fall, but that's definitely where I'm at. So all of these books did fall under that category, and that was not my intention. It just happened that way. So the first one I got is The Silent Companion, and I haven't heard too much about this book. I think I came across it on either Goodreads or Amazon, maybe Google, and I just looked at the synopsis and it really intrigued me. It also gets great ratings. It says, when newly widowed Elsie is sent to see out her pregnancy at her late husband's crumbling country estate, what greets her is far from the life and luxury she expected when she married the young heir just weeks before. Inside her new home lies a locked door, beyond which is a painted wooden figure, a silent companion that bears a striking resemblance to Elsie herself. So I'm very curious about this one. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like themes from The Haunting, the movie, if you've ever seen that. So hopefully it's like that because I do love that movie, but I'm really excited to jump into this one. And I was surprised with how short it actually is. It is only 300 pages, so I think this will be a quicker read. I did get a few Darcy Coates books from the library and I'll review those next. I believe I got 3. 2 are more Haunted Mansion stories because I haven't read anything like that by her, and I love Haunted Mansion horror thrillers, gothic romances. I love all of it. So 2 of them are Haunted Mansion stories, and then the other one I don't know too much about. So I'm going to start with the Haunted Mansion ones first. I got Haunting of Ashburn House and then also Gallows Hill. These have been on my list for quite a while, and so when I came across them at the library, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to jump into them. Both of them are pretty large, but if it's anything like Darcy's other books, yeah, the font's pretty big on here, so it's probably a pretty quick and light read. Her reads are also very easy to get through. It doesn't feel very complex. There's not a lot of hard language, so it's usually a pretty easy read. For Gallows Hill, I'm just going to read a little bit of the synopsis on the back for you guys. It says, the whole family has owned Gallows Hill Winery for generations. The sprawling old house has long been perched on the top of a hill overlooking the nearby town. However, people whisper that a curse has awakened once more. It's been more than a decade since Margot last saw her childhood home. It sounds like she returns to her home after her parents' death and finds out the truth about her family's legacy. And then for The Haunting of Ashburn House, the synopsis for this one reads, everyone knows about Ashburn House. They whisper that its old owner went mad and restless, and ghosts still walk the halls. But when Adrian, desperate and in need of a place to stay, inherits the crumbling old mansion, she sees it as a lifeline until darkness falls. Strange messages etched into the walls, furniture moves when she leaves the room, and a grave hidden in the depths of the forest hints at a terrible, unforgivable secret. So this sounds very much like your classic Haunted Mansion story. I will be reviewing all these that I get through in my monthly reading wrap-ups, so just remember to subscribe if you are interested in hearing the follow-up reviews on all of these. I will be reviewing all of them in those videos. And the last one that I got from Darcy Coates in this library haul is From Below. This is the largest of her books that I got, and it looks like, yeah, the font's the same size, but this one, I'm gonna guess it's like, yeah, it's like 460 pages, so it's on the longer side for Darcy. She usually writes pretty short novels. This one says, years ago, a routine voyage, the SS Arcadia, vanished without a trace. Though a strange, garbled emergency message was broadcast, neither the ship nor any of its crew could be found. 6 years later, its wreck has finally been discovered more than 300 miles from its intended course, a silent graveyard deep beneath the ocean's surface, eagerly waiting for the first sign of life. I'm really curious to get into this one. Again, this one has pretty high reviews, so I don't know much about it going into it, and as usual, that excites me. Next up, I got Coraline. So I am a huge fan of Coraline, the claymation film by Leica Studios. I have grown up with that movie. I watch it every year, multiple times, multiple seasons of the year. So I am a huge fan. My whole family's a huge fan, and I've never actually read the book. I have heard some people who are used to the claymation film either really like the book or they really dislike the book. So I'm curious to see what I think, but this is just a short read. And because October is coming up, I really was curious about this one. There's also some very cool and creepy art in here, which I'm super excited to look through. And this one is only about 160 pages. Next up, I want to talk about House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. Alexis Henderson wrote, I believe it's Year of the Witching, and I loved that book. I gave it 5 stars. I was a huge fan. And so when I heard about House of Hunger, I immediately wanted to read it. Her Year of the Witching book is supposed to have a sequel, I believe. I don't know if the date for that has ever been released, so I'm trying to read some of her other stuff while I anticipate that release. It sounds like a young woman is drawn into upper society. She basically spots a peculiar listing in the newspaper seeking a blood maid. It sounds like in this book or in this story, nobles live in luxury and drink the blood of those in their service. That's really all I know about this one and all I want to know before I jump into it, but I am really excited to get into House of Hunger. I just realized that at the beginning of this video, I said these are all horror or thriller novels, and to be fair, I don't know what this technically falls under. It wasn't categorized at the library, and on Amazon, it's also very vague. I'm having a hard time pinning this down to a genre. However, this is a YA novel that does sound like it's along the lines of either a mystery or thriller. I believe there's some romance in this one as well, but I randomly stumbled across this in the library and I was like, this is meant to be, because I am always on the look for a good Peter Pan retelling. I loved Peter Pan growing up. It was one of my favorite stories. And so I have challenged myself with trying to read as many of the retellings as I can. So this one is called Straight On Till Morning, and this is part of a larger series, it looks like, of fairy tale retellings. I hope that it's okay that I start on this one. I think this one's like the 8th in the series, so it's definitely not the first, although I think you can read them individually. If anyone has read them, comment below, but I think that should be okay. I think they're each their own individual stories. The synopsis for this one says, 16-year-old Wendy Darling's life is not what she imagined it would be. She lives in an empty house after her brothers have gone to school, and the fact that her parents have decided to send her away makes her wish things could be different. Wendy's only real escape is writing down the tales of Neverland. And after nearly meeting her hero Peter Pan, she still holds on to the childhood hope that his magical home truly exists. So when the opportunity to travel to Neverland via pirate ship presents itself, Wendy makes a deal with the devil. So I am really excited to get into this one. It sounds super interesting to me, and this is a bit of a larger novel. The text is not super small or tight, but it is almost 500 pages. So I will be sure to update you guys on what I think about this one. Okay, and we're at the last 2 books that I got for this library haul, and these are both by Riley Sager, who I've actually never read anything from before. So the House Across the Lake is actually going to be for my book club read. I just recently joined a second book club. So my first book club that I read a lot for and have mentioned before on this channel is a romantasy book club. So that's the genre for that book club. And then I recently joined a thriller mystery book club, which I'm super excited about. This is the first book I've ever read for that group. I have heard good things about this, and this book club had actually just read The Only One Left the prior month, and they loved it so much that they picked The House Across the Lake. So it's going to be their second Riley Sager book in a row. So they really loved them that much. I'm really excited to jump into both of these. Obviously, this one comes highly rated from some folks in that book club that I know personally. And then The House Across the Lake, as far as I've heard, they're really enjoying it. They haven't gotten too far into it, and I haven't started it yet, but I'm really excited to jump into both of these. A quick synopsis for The House on the Lake is Kylie Fletcher, a recent widowed actress trying to escape a streak of bad press, has rerouted to the peace and quiet of her family's lake house in Vermont. One day on the lake, Casey saves a woman from drowning, and the two strike up a budding friendship. But the more they get to know each other and the longer Casey watches, the more it becomes clear that her new friend's marriage isn't as perfect as it appears. And it sounds like The Only One Left is actually a gothic thriller. And to be honest, the synopsis for this one doesn't really explain much. It's kind of confusing. So I won't touch on this one too much, but I am really excited to get into it because it comes so highly rated from some folks I know. All right, so thank you for watching if you've made it to the end of this video. I really am excited to jump into all of these books. Per usual, if you have read any of them, I'd love to hear your comments below. And if you're adding any of these to your TBR, I'd be curious which ones you're interested in. Like I said, when I read through all of these, I will be adding them to those monthly videos that I post. So please subscribe if you do want to keep track of that in the future. I also often post 2 to 3 minute review videos for specific books if I really want to do a deep dive review, but I do post a couple of those a month as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more library hauls in the future, and thanks for watching.